I was first introduced to minimalism, I think in like 2018, 2019 maybe, and it was because of that documentary, The Minimalists. So it's been about 5 or 6 years since then, and I have gone through multiple cycles in my life of kind of purging things, getting rid of things, and then I've also gone through cycles of like buying too many things again. Like I feel like it's been a lot of give and take, and I've learned a lot about myself through the process. And even at this point in time, I wouldn't consider myself a minimalist. However, I think it's one of those things where you don't need to be an extremist in the situation. You don't need to be on the far end of the spectrum in order to benefit from certain like lifestyles like that, which is why I think it's so important to learn about it, see what's going to work for you, and start to kind of like pick and choose habits to build into your own life. And that's how you make those lifestyle changes more sustainable. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to chat about how minimalism has been very life-changing for me and has kind of helped with my creativity and managing my stress. And maybe this will be inspiring for some of you to at least kind of explore the idea of lowering your consumption and being more intentional with the kind of like material, physical things that you bring into your life. So the first thing that I noticed when it comes to minimalism and how it kind of affects my creativity is that when I have simplicity in the material world and in the physical world around me, it tends to allow for more complex emotional processing and like creative exploration internally, if that makes sense. I'm very affected by my environment, by the people around me, the place I live. All of that plays a pretty big role in my mental health and my focus and my productivity and creativity and stress management. And I have found that the simpler I make my external environment, the deeper I'm able to go into my creativity and my like introspection with myself. And I think that simplicity can be found in very different ways in your life. It doesn't have to be getting rid of everything that you own and painting your walls white and sleeping on the floor. It can be that if you want it to be. And this is going to be one of those things where you'll probably need to do a lot of self-reflection and see what's going to affect you. For some people, that might look like doing a digital declutter and emptying out your downloads folder that you haven't touched in months and is now just overflowing with things that you can't find. Getting rid of less things that are in their house, or minimizing their clothes so that they don't have to spend brain power thinking about what they're gonna wear and sorting through clothes. So yeah, I have found that when I simplify different aspects of my external world, it makes everything in my brain a lot calmer, and I feel like it allows me the space to be able to do more complex things when it comes to my creative projects and when it comes to the self-reflection and the self-awareness journey that I'm going through. I also find when it comes to material, physical things, I feel like when I have less physical clutter, I also have less mental clutter. So I have been someone in the past who has been notorious for buying things that I think are going to serve me at that point in time, but then I find out that it was kind of just an impulse buy or something that I was influenced to buy by a certain lifestyle that I've like seen online, for example. And I have found that when I have less physical clutter around me, I have, yeah, like I said, less mental clutter, less things around me to be distracted by, and just more room for creation. A big theme for me over the past year or so has been creation over consumption. So rather than worrying about getting more things and kind of hoarding things and keeping everything that I have, it's been so much nicer to release a lot of the things that I have in order to make space to create new things, whether that's writing or a new piece of art or sitting in my room and playing guitar or working on filmmaking. I don't know, just like all of these different things that if I'm surrounded by clutter, I really struggle to focus on those things and get myself into a flow state. And you don't even have to get rid of everything. Just getting rid of a few things here and there is generally enough to clear my mental space enough to feel like I'm in a better place to do creative work. I also find that I feel this sense of freedom when the stuff that I own does not own me. And what I mean by that is that I think I have a habit of attaching a lot of value and safety to the things that I own. I think this is a result of the way that I grew up and just like habits of the people around me. Even as a kid, I grew up around a family that didn't want to let go of a lot of things or get rid of a lot of things for fear that they would get rid of something that was important, or for fear that they would need something at some random point in the future, even if the likelihood of that happening was very low. So I think between that and then developing a bit of a scarcity complex, as well as even when I was in university, I had a lot of friends that they liked owning things, you know, and they liked having things that displayed certain statuses or trends or whatever it was. So I think that community and how I was raised played a big role in how I treated physical and material items. So for you, this might not be as bad, but for me, the release that I have found when I do the work to release attachment from physical and material items has been just so powerful. Because when you go, you know, the first 2 decades of your life attaching such value and scarcity to owning things and physical things, the empowerment that comes with realizing that you actually don't need most of the things that you have. And for example, if you ever need something that you're missing, chances are if you have a community, you can borrow it from someone. If there are things that you use regularly, you can still keep those things. But keeping things just in case, or because of what ifs, or because it's something that you think gives you a certain level of status, there's just countless reasons that you might keep physical things and not be able to let go of them. And I think that minimalism and essentialism has really taught me how to detach from physical items. And for someone like me that previously, like, the things that I owned played a big role in how happy and safe and content I felt, the freedom that comes with detaching from that is just incredible. It also offers me freedom from attachment to the past. For example, if there are things that I've kept because they are maybe sentimental, but not in the way that like, oh, a family member gave me this, so I should keep it. Just like, I've had this for a long time, so I should keep it kind of thing. When in reality, it's something that I don't need it, and I don't even enjoy it anymore, and I'm just keeping it because I'm like, but I've had it for so long, I can't just get rid of it kind of thing. And of course, there's also freedom from attaching success to material possessions that comes with, you know, learning to let go of things. Learning to be able to detach from material possessions and not let them have such control in my life was both very difficult, but has again been life-changing, because I find so much less influence from the content that I consume online, because I think it's much more difficult to influence me now when it comes to buying things just for the sake of buying them, which leads me to the next point, which is the idea of saving money. I've also not been great with money, not something that I was really taught much about at all growing up, and it's something that I have had to learn a lot about over past years. And adapting to more minimalistic habits is such a money saver, because you don't feel like you need to buy the latest trend in clothing or gear or books or whatever it may be. And books, I've also failed on the minimalism train very, very often. I have gone through like impulse buys of multiple books before, and then I'm like, why did I do that? But when you no longer impulse buy and you no longer buy because of trends, and you start to learn to put so much more appreciation on the things that you do currently own, you're less likely to impulsively spend money on other things, because you're happy and satisfied and content and get such good use out of the things that you already do own and the things that are already existing in your life, that you put so much more intention into, you know, making the decision to bring something else into your life. And the reason that I think that this correlates to creativity is because if you're an artist, if you're someone that creates something, anything, chances are you also work a day job or a part-time job or some other job not in your art area. And when you're able to save money and be better with money and be smarter with money, it actually gives you more creative freedom to spend less time working and more time creating art and maybe working on that part of your career, or just take more time off work in general to go to an artist retreat. You don't have to work as much to get new supplies and try new things when it comes to your art if you're better at saving money and you already put in these more minimalism, essentialism based practices where you're not spending money unless it's with intention. And I think minimalism was a way for me to start to learn more about how I can have more control with my freedom and the benefits that can come from that, especially when it comes to my creative endeavors, which I have a lot. And yeah, in general, having less stuff just helps so much with not getting overstimulated with everything around me. I feel like I have more time for creative projects. I feel like I have more space for creative projects. I feel like I have more time and space and energy to put towards things that actually matter to me rather than just over consuming. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I wouldn't label myself a minimalist or an essentialist, but I have a lot of practices and lifestyle habits that I have picked up from learning about those alternative lifestyles that have just been so helpful. So I really wanted to share how picking up pieces from those lifestyles and applying them to my own life has been so beneficial for my creativity and my mental health and my overall well-being. I also wanted to mention, I know that it's difficult. We live in a capitalistic society, very like overly consuming society. Everyone wants you to buy something and you want to buy everything, and there is everything to buy if you want to. So I know it's difficult to start. I'm going to leave links to a couple minimalism challenges and resources that I've tried before that have been very, very helpful for me. And I'll also leave links to a couple videos that I've done on minimalism, especially ones from the beginning when I was just getting started, so you can see the kind of stuff I was dealing with and a little bit of my thought process. And yeah, I love making videos about this kind of thing because it's something that for the past 5 or 6 years has been super beneficial in my life, and it has really, really helped me in so many different ways beyond just like decluttering my stuff physically. It has helped my mental health immensely. It has helped my focus. It has helped my creativity. And I just think that like in a world that is so full of consumerism, it's really important to be, you know, curious and looking into these alternative lifestyles that offer more sustainable, healthier habits when it comes to dealing with stuff. And if you declutter your space and your computer and the people you're following on Instagram, and if you just like simplify things, I think that it genuinely does open up so much more space and capacity to be able to focus on things that matter to you a lot more, to be able to focus on those hobbies and skills and arts that you want to be doing, but you feel like you just don't have time or space or energy. So if trying like the tiniest little habit from minimalism helps you, then I feel like it's worth it. So yeah, I'll leave resources and stuff linked down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love talking about this, and it's something that like definitely cycles back in my life very often. I fall off the boat very often and I have to get back on. But the more I do it and the more cycles I go through of these practices and habits, the more aligned I get and the better I feel. So I hope that these help you as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you in the next one.